we'll talk some about your senior year and let you tell some memories of that. You mentioned St. Stanislaus and playing against your brother. What's the memories you have of that particular game?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how that came about, how that game came about. But anyway, actually, those two teams, for some reason, had played in the late 30s and in the early 40s when Doc Blanchard was down there and Cecil Blackwell played for Foley and so forth. And I think they split games or something. But anyway, it just so happens that in my senior year, 1949 season, we had a game with them down there, the first game. And my brother was a starting quarterback for St. Stanislaus, Jimmy, and I was, of course, starting in. Of course, then we played both ways. You played defense and offense, and so I had an occasion when I messed with him, I might say, tried to sack him, but of course I knew those guys because I'd played down there 2 years before, and I really wanted to win that game. I know that, and we did 26-14, and I can remember they were ahead at 14-12 at the half, and we ended up being 26-14. But it was a good trip, and we actually, unlike any other away game, we stayed at a hotel down there.
Is that right?
We didn't come home till the next day, but it turned out to be a fun game. And I wish I had some pictures, but for some reason we didn't get any pictures together. And
you get to tackling? You get to tackle your brother?
Oh, I did some, yeah. And of course, he knew most of our guys too, so that made it interesting. In fact, I think he threw for. I know he threw for one touchdown and Mayo for another. They had more of a passing game, and we had more of a running game.
What were they running, the T offense, or were they single wing?
They T. We were single wing. Our offense was single wing. Coach Meredith never varied. He was a single wing guy, and
y'all scored a lot of points with it that year. Your senior
yeah, we did. You know, we ran from a unbalanced line most of the time, and when you got unbalanced line one way or the other, and you got the blocking back and everybody coming that way, you could stop it, but you had to be strong. And we had, of course, the tailback was what was really important. And Norris Nelson was a good tailback, a good running back. And W.L. Smith, Dub Smith, was a good running back. W.L. was killed in Korea, you might know. And
well, talk about that. We mentioned W.L. We'll get off the subject for a minute and talk about your memories of him.
W.L. was he probably weighed at most 150 pounds. He was, but he was in good shape, and he was a year behind me, and he had some good speed and good balance. He could see the field, and he played a lot as the year before as a 10th grader, and but I remember hearing about when he was killed in Korea. That's never really, but he was a good running back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Talk about some of your memories of those first 5 games. I mentioned that to you before. Y'all were really on a roll those first 5 ball games.
We of course, back then, I don't think we had any classifications, and we didn't have any playoff. And you know, you might play Murphy one week and Chatham or Washington County the next week, which I'm not sure how the schedule was made. You just got games you could get. And that we started out, beat St. Stanislaus, and then we played what is now South Choctaw High School. I think in the yearbook it says Silas. And I can remember going up there, and you know, we traveled on the yellow school bus, and going up there to Silas, and that was Foley wasn't real big then, but Silas was really small. I mean, it was a crossroads, and we beat them pretty bad, and then we played at I think Monroe County now. 2-3, and so we had the offense going, and we had a good defensive team. Of course, the same players on offense and defense.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you just turned around and the ball went over. You just turned around and played up. I played offensive end, receiver, defensive end. So we had a good offense that year.
So y'all beat Flomaton 32-0 and Robertsdale 30-0.
Yeah.
Remember anything about those 2 games?
Well, I can remember Robertsdale. We played at Robertsdale. I remember that, and I remember the coach was not satisfied with the way we played. Even we won 30-0. For some reason, we were sputtering on offense. And I do remember that Joe Childress, I think, was a 10th grader that year, and he went on to bigger things. And I remember him stopping him, trying to, you know, he was already good, but became even better. But of course, he was just in like 10th grade then.
Yes, sir.
And Flomaton, I think we wanted some revenge on them. We'd gone up there the year before, and they beat us in a game we should have won. It was the year before. We didn't have many seniors, and so when they came down here, we wanted to beat them, and we did.